let's go right into the guy that I hear a lot of Giants fans nonstop screaming for. I think this is probably the pick of most Giant fans here. And that's one, Mr. Cam Ward. And am I the only one who loves that celebration he does, by the way? I just love that thing.
I still don't know what it means. What does it mean?
You know what? I have no clue myself, but I love it. I don't know. It's like the proper amount of swag. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, you're like, yeah, I'm better than you. I'm doing good. But it's not like you're not throwing it all over the place for like half an hour doing some like organized, can dance routine with half the team and stuff like that. It's just listen, I'm surprised we haven't seen it yet. Really, I'm surprised. Like it's insane some of the celebrations see with some of these teams nowadays. But Cam Ward, 22 years old, 6'2", 223 pounds, born May 25th, 2002 in West Columbia, Texas. Guys, that's the one thing I did he grow up a Cowboy fan? I'm hoping not, because
doesn't matter.
There. Played his high school football at Columbia High School, where he played in a wing T offense that allowed him only to pass 12 pass attempts per game, guys. So think of it this way, and not to get too technical on football here for you guys, but think of it this way. If you're in a Wildcat offense, how much is the quarterback getting to pass the ball? It's kind of like that kind of situation, guys. It was a run team. That's what they did. They ran, and they used the run to set up the pass 100%. He just didn't get that chance. His only scholarship offer he had was the University of the Incarnate Word. If you guys have never heard of that college before, guess what? You're not alone. I had never.
I was going to say, no one else.
Guy, like, seriously. Some of y'all might still be like, is that even a college? It is, I promise.
There's alumni.
2020 there at the University of Incarnate Word. 6 games, 2,260 yards. 24 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He was a Jerry Rice Award winner that year. Southland Conference Freshman of the Year. 3rd team All-Southland. Then goes to, I messed up my notes here, but 21 University of the Incarnate Word. 4,648 yards, 47 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Southland Conference Offensive Player of the Year. 2nd team All-Southland. I got to ask this question. WTF, Southland? How is he going to be the Offensive Player of the Year in the 2nd team All-Southland? Does that make any sense whatsoever?
Pretty
That's as bad as Andrew Thomas being 2nd team All-Pro and not going to the Pro Bowl. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Like, that's
crazy.
Given that. So then he transfers over to Washington State. 13 games in 22, 64.4 completion percentage, 3,232 yards, 23 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 107 rushes, 58 yards, 5 touchdowns. 23, that's just the last season. 13 games, 66.6 completion percentage, 3,736 yards, 25 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 120 rushes for 144 yards, 8 touchdowns. Now, he guys initially had gone into the NFL draft last year. And I know a lot of people are talking about him as a potential sneaky early day 3 kind of pickup. He was going to be like a 4th round pick, according to most pundits there.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, probably not a horrible place to put him based on what he had done to that point. But he took it upon himself to drop out while he still could, go back 1 year, leaves Washington State, goes over to Miami, who picked up a few players in the transfer portal this year there, and kind of almost like an NFL rebuild to a certain degree there this season.
Yeah.
24 this so far, 10 games, 68.8 completion percentage, 3,494 yards, 32 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 50 rushes, 182 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Guys, he is playing at an extremely, extremely high caliber right now.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, he's my top quarterback in this draft so far. What do you guys think? Is he your top guy?
Who you going to first?
You can go first, Dash. That's
you
fine.
were the guest.
He's my number 2. He's my number 2. I still have Shador.
Who does number 2 work for?
But no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying I haven't decided actually who my top. I have a top 3 category. I just haven't decided how I want to place them.
I'm curious who number 3 is.
Because there's a couple guys because there's a lot of different looks around Cam's are great. He's all around. He's having an explosive year. He's one of these guys that's coming in. Like, you're looking at his career, 5 years. He's got, what, 17,300 some yards, thus far in his college career. Like, it's fantastic. You're talking about Sanders, who's also been playing lights out. But he also looks like he should be a shortstop for the Mets instead of playing behind the center.
That's a Met fan, folks, by the way.
I'm just saying, like,
hoping. I know the team's bad, but come on.
What are you talking about?
Listen, it's the Mets. It's the same as the Jets. You occasionally go to an AFC championship game, but you're still the Mets in the end. Okay.
Hey, we're in the National League. Get your baseball facts straight.
So here's real quick what's got listed. And I scoured a lot of different scouting reports online. I wanted to see what they listed as his pros and cons, and the consensus has pretty much been there. Great arm and natural throwing motion, playmaker, improviser, makes pre-snap adjustments very well. The cons have been the turnovers, bad risks at times, and overthinks at pre-snap at times. Athletic, but yet the running game quite isn't there yet. Now, I got to say, that last one is one that I was like, what the hell? Like, when you watch this guy's tape, he doesn't want to be Lamar Jackson. And I'm all for that. When he moves, a lot of times it's lateral moves. When the pocket's breaking down, he's waiting. I can't tell how many times you watch him play. You got a receiver coming back to help him out, and he's finding the guy wide open. That's what you want. Guys, I've said on the show so many times before, and every so often, there's the I before E except after C, and there's an occasional rule breaker in the NFL. 9 times out of 10, you win with a passing quarterback, not a running quarterback. Now, running quarterback can be very exciting to watch, but look at the guys who were known as the running quarterbacks. Randall Cunningham, not a single ring. Michael Vick, not a single ring. Lamar Jackson so far, not a single ring. Again, you'll get guys who are mobile, like a Russell Wilson who has a ring.
Steve Young is another one.
Yeah, Steve Young, classic, great example. But a running quarterback typically doesn't, for whatever reason, again, it's kind of a newer thing in the last few decades, obviously, at that point there. Especially it's become more popular, I feel like, a little bit more lately. So maybe I'll be proven wrong.
Yeah, but at some point in time, yeah.
Until otherwise.
But statistically speaking, you're not wrong.
Because even you brought up Lamar, even looking at Lamar this year, he's better now because of what? He's developing his passing game.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, he's always a dual threat guy, and now he's starting to get to be a better passer now.
Almost like some people are right about Zay Flowers, just saying.
Yeah.
We're gonna toot ourselves in the horn for that one there. He's been a good player. Here's what Bleacher Report said about it. It said Cam Ward is one of the most gifted throwers in the NFL draft class. The combination of arm talent, mobility, athleticism, and accuracy is growing amongst NFL scouts. He is comfortable using hard counts to force the defense out of their disguises, then set the protection to pick up any indicating extra rushers from the second or third levels of the defense. He has superstar potential if he can cut down on mistakes, risky decisions. You know what that kind of reminds me of, guys?
Yeah, say it.
There's a certain guy who was known for making a lot of risky things. Now, he also didn't have the arm, the motion, the footwork, and that kind of stuff that I see in Cam Ward. But, guys, we talk about all the time with Brian Dable, Josh Allen. That was one of the knocks on him coming out. And let's also put this into thought process, too, as well. As much as we don't want to say this, his name is becoming as bad as saying Dave Gettleman in a Giants program. But Daniel Jones, before Dable got there, was a turnover machine, guys.
Yeah.
Let's be very frank about that. But the fumbles, which he eventually got fixed up there, but the interceptions were still there. The last 2 years it started to come out, but 22, he got that problem fixed. That was the good year of Daniel Jones. That first year that Brian Dable, really worked with him. I think that doesn't scare me when I hear that out of a quarterback. What do you guys think? Am I crazy for saying that? Or
no, not at all. That's actually the comparison that I was actually going to say. I had it in my notes to decide to say is that Josh. I know you said I'm gone. Like you're looking at Wyoming or something, but yeah, exactly what you said. Josh Allen coming out of Wyoming. Everyone's like, oh, let's send on this guy. Let's look at this. Like, who knows? He's turnover machine. Like, can he do it? But mobile. Being able to throw the ball. That's Josh Allen to the T. And he's, we can say it, what, top 5 right now?
Yeah.
Top 3, maybe?
Top 3 probably right now.
Yeah.
You know, I'd have to do an actual list. I haven't made. I don't have one of those in my head there, but probably top 3. Top 5 is probably a little conservative. Dash, what do you think of Cam Ward?
I like Cam Ward a lot. Like, even though he's second on my list, I like Cam Ward a lot because of all the reasons that you stated. Just being able to improvise the way that he can improvise. You need that. And again, he doesn't have the best offensive line either. He, as far as his relationship with his wide receivers, has a great relationship. Whenever the play breaks down, somebody, like you said, is always ready to bail him out. So the broken plays are good for him. I love his confidence. He's a gunslinger too, like you said, Josh Allen. He's a gunslinger, maybe a little bit too confident, similar to Josh Allen. Doesn't quite have the same power as far as zip as Josh Allen has, but plenty of arm strength. A good leader. You see him with his teammates. As soon as they come off the field, he's talking to everybody. O-line, wide receivers. How do you run a route? Need to come back here, do this. I like his leadership ability. But like you said, he has issues where he could hold on to the ball a little bit too long, looking for the home run shot. And I think that's one of the things that makes him number 2 on my list because of the turnovers. If he hits fumbling, something like that. But that's something you can always work on. I hate to say it, how playing out of structure, kind of like how Caleb Williams would play out of structure when he didn't need to. Mm-hmm. This guy does it when he has to, when it's necessary. So I think right now when people want to look at Caleb Williams, and like I said, I wasn't on Caleb Williams the way you guys, you guys weren't on him either. You guys like Jaden Daniels, like you said, but I see similar parts of when the play breaks down. I see that little bit of Caleb Williams, but for me, and it's funny too, because some people like to compare black quarterbacks to black quarterbacks. I'm glad that you guys brought in Josh Allen. I would also say this too. That final season of Joe Burrow at LSU, I see similar ways of the way those guys are making plays. Now, he didn't have Jamar Chase. He doesn't have Jamar Chase, but Restrepo is doing a pretty good job too. But I just like that he's always looking to for the pass. He doesn't break the pocket to run. He breaks the pocket to find it, see if something develops a little bit downfield, and he'll take the shot every time. So I do like that, and I think it's good for what the New York Giants need. I like him a lot.
Yeah, you know what I love is the background. Yeah. Coming from a high school that wouldn't let him throw, basically works his way from a small name school that none of us had basically heard of before we started researching this guy. Yeah. Ends up at a medium school, I guess, probably safe to say, at Washington State. That's not a powerhouse school, but it's a medium school. You've heard of it. There's players that go into the NFL out of it, not necessarily at a high click, but there are players that come out. Then he goes, okay, let me go into the NFL. Okay, hold on. They're saying a little more seasoning. And he listens. You know what this tells me a lot? This kid is coachable. He listens to solid advice. And that's one of those things that we as content creators and, guys who just sit there and watch the tape and try to analyze this stuff, it's hard for us to look at that kind of stuff. We're going to get to the minute with Sanders talk because that's one of the questions I have at that point. It's the personality and the interview kind of stuff. But it's like, I feel like this kid is coachable because I see growth over his career. I see him listen to proper advice saying, hey, go back to school another year. You're going to be a 4th round pick. Go back and have a big year. You might be a 2nd, 3rd, whatever. Whatever advice they gave him. I don't think anybody probably expected. That's a little ridiculous to good old kid to say, you're a 4th round pick now, but go one more year. You might be a top 5. That'd be ridiculous. Yeah. Somebody obviously gave him good advice, whether it was somebody from the NFL world, college world, whatever, but somebody gave him that and he listened.
You know what's funny about that too is when they were giving out the Senior Bowl invites, and what's a guy named Jim Nagy, and I saw that Bo Nix got an invite. I'm tweeting Jim Nagy like, "Where's Cam Ward's invite?" He's like, "He went back to school." I'm saying, "Oh, I'm sorry." I was like,
"Whoops."
Yeah, but I was mad, man. I was like, "Where's his invite?" But also, I played wing T in high school. It's a prehistoric offense.
Yeah,
and if you're a quarterback in a wing T, you're not. Yeah, it's not successful. There's no way.
If you watch like a 1930s Giants film, that's basically what we're running back then.
The best pass play is a waggle in the wing T.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to use the Wildcat. That's probably the best analogy to modern football that people might be familiar with. There, I guess, like you said, it's old fashioned. Like that's like something our grandparents were playing football with. Basically, that kind of style offense there. But obviously it worked for them. They did good, but it just wasn't conducive to developing a quarterback really. So yeah, like I said, I like him. I'm curious to see, as the season progresses, what happens at the big games. I love to judge college quarterbacks in the big games. Now, obviously, Rob and I weren't doing the show way back when, but I'm going to give a good example to this. There's a quarterback that was coming out of school that failed every single big bowl game he was in. He goes into the NFL, and I said it even. And listen, I'll tell you point blank to give you an idea age-wise. I was in high school when he came out, and I said, this guy's going to be a really good player, but I question him in the big game, and can he do what he's got to do at that point to win championships, which is what you got to be a top-flight quarterback in this league. He goes to college the next year. His school wins the national championship. And I said, hold on. That's a bad sign to me. Do you know who I'm talking about yet?
Who wins the national championship after
the quarterback that followed him was T. Martin.
Oh, Peyton?
Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning. I love judging based on what you do in the big game. And I said all along, Peyton would be a great quarterback, but he'd have trouble in the postseason because it just didn't suit him. And what happened? Peyton Manning, 9 times in the NFL, one and done in the playoffs. Let's be honest, guys. Eli was better than Peyton in the postseason. Peyton got dragged to that second Super Bowl. Dragged, kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
Brock Osweiler
was like
back to the field basically at that point. Like,
yeah, the noodle arm.
Exactly.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.